July 26, 2023 will go down as a black letter day in the history of Indian forests and environment and biodiversity. The eco-terrorists in the Lok Sabha have passed a dreadful bill, the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill 2023, which would pave the way for a forest to be destroyed across the country. They should have had some common sense to at least understand that at this point in time, people are suffering. Extreme climate events have been battering us, be it floods, landslides, droughts, extreme heat, extreme cold. There are diseases. People are still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. And at this point in time, these so-called elected representatives of ours have gone ahead and cleared the destructive Forest Conservation Amendment Bill. We should also hold our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, responsible for this. He goes about the world talking big about saving biodiversity in the country. He also made a commitment in the COP26 at Glasgow, saying that India will make every effort to reduce carbon emission and make it a net zero carbon emission country by 2070. When there's a need to add forests to the negligible 20% that we have, the same Prime Minister who takes so much credit for everything that happens around the country does not have the responsibility to stop his own legion of members of parliament from approving this bill. He should have at least had a word of caution to them, but it doesn't seem to be so. He takes credit for the number of tigers in the country to have improved to 3,167. He was in Mysore, in Karnataka recently to make the announcement. He should also understand the tiger numbers have increased, but they could rapidly decrease if this particular amendment bill is approved in the Rajya Sabha and is implemented in the country. Already tigers which are populated in the tiger reserves are moving to reserve forests, and there's been man-animal conflict. There's a rise in man-animal conflict. And now by allowing these reserve forests to be exploited for mining, for linear projects, for hydraulic projects, for ecotourism, for zoos, this is going to create more havoc. We're going to lose not only our tigers, but there's going to be a lot of trouble for the people living around the forest periphery. Our Prime Minister has failed us. These MPs, we don't even consider them because these are all just listening to what their bosses are telling them. So they've been asked to do it, they've done it. But these eco-terrorists should be held responsible for the destruction that happens across the country and which is going to affect the generations ahead and the future generations. There should be some responsibility on the shoulders of these members of parliament, but they have not shown any sense of application of mind. This is not the time to have passed it. This is the time to have added forests. We are reducing our forest cover. So this is the only way forward is we can only hope the Supreme Court will take a severe decision on this and stop this dreadful Forest Conservation Amendment Bill from being passed in the Rajya Sabha and is implemented in the country. This is as I said earlier, this is a black letter day for India, for its forests, for its wildlife, for its biodiversity, for its fragile ecosystem. We as people need to stop this. We need to come together for at least, not for our sake, at least for the future generations, to ensure that this dreadful Forest Conservation Amendment Bill is not implemented. We cannot afford to destroy our forests. Already we have plundered our forests. It's enough is enough. It's time as a people we all come together, because we say, yes, we need development in our country. We want to be a superpower. We want to be economically as an economic superpower, and we need to do well in all aspects of life, but not at the risk of destroying our forests. Our ecological security is more important than your FDIs and your GDP. This is not the time, Mr. Narendra Modi, for having this dreadful forest conservation amendment being passed in the Lok Sabha. You should have taken the responsibility. It is you who we respect, but none of your the MPs get the respect that you get. So it was your responsibility to ensure that this bill was not passed. But unfortunately, despite the stalemate in the Lok Sabha over the Manipur issue, which itself is so depressing, your MPs have gone ahead and cleared it. It shows what kind of leadership that we are having in our country. You have failed us. Your MPs are just nothing but obedient boys and girls who are just listening to what you say, and they do what you are asking them to do. Your forest minister, Mr. Bhupender Yadav, is another disaster. He's supposed to have written a book on the environment, but the same man has gone about playing to your tunes and seen that the forests go for a 6. Here you're talking about man-animal conflicts everywhere across the country. The tigers, leopards are in this virtually in every village. Elephants are being killing people. Elephants are being killed. And then instead of hiding forests, we are depleting their habitats. We are destroying their habitats. Where are we going? Is there no responsibility in this government? There is no sensible leadership in this country. It's very, very disgusting, very disappointing to talk about whatever has happened in the Lok Sabha. It's very unfortunate. We as a people have to suffer this kind of dictatorship